What is the difference between energy healing and spiritual healing? So, to answer this question, I guess I'll speak to my experience and what I've learned throughout my own life. So, when I was 12 years old, I was attuned to Reiki, which is a Japanese form of healing. So, it's been almost like 21 years at this point. So, when I channel Reiki energy, first thing I do is like say a little prayer. It's just really about setting an intention, and then I feel energy flowing through my palms. So majority of the time I use Reiki just personally, like for myself, for my own healing, balance and connection, relaxation to with my own body. But I also, in the past throughout my life, I've Reiki'd others, family members, friends, also pets, cats and dogs as well. So with Reiki healing, it's channeling life force energy. It isn't, the way I perceive it and the way I guess I was taught when I was attuned is, it isn't necessarily using your own energy. You're opening up a channel, and your body then is a vessel for Reiki energy to flow through. So when I'm healing myself, I am tapping into universal energy. When I'm, Reikiing others, I'm not using or draining my own energy to heal. I'm using universal energy. It's just, I'm the vessel. It's just coming through me. So basically then when it comes to spiritual healing, this is something that I've actually more recently learned. So I've channeled spiritual energy where there's someone, like I'll have a person sitting in front of me and put my hands on their shoulders, or you don't have to, with any type of energy healing, you don't actually have to touch people. When I Reiki others, you can just hover your hands over, their body or wherever. It's non-invasive like that. But so then when I've done spiritual healing on people, I've basically just, either hover my hands over their shoulders or put my hands on their shoulders. And then I've called in either a spirit guide or a spirit team, or I've even done it where the lady I was doing the healing for, I got her to call in someone. She didn't tell me who it was, but we didn't like speak, if that makes sense. Like I got her to just speak to her team, call in someone. And then I felt a masculine man come in, and it was her father from the spirit world. So when it comes to spiritual healing, there's a spirit, like a specific spirit being providing the healing. This could be someone from your spirit team, it could be your spirit guide, it could be an angel, it could be a loved one. Really, it's just like, it's mostly coming from a spirit being. So the energy, I must say, because I've been attuned to Reiki for like 20 years, over 20 years at this point, I'm very familiar with what it feels like. With spiritual healing coming from a spirit being, it does feel a little bit different. Obviously, spirit healing, energy healing, it is all just energy healing. Basically, it's just coming from different places. So, something like Reiki, or there's other different types of energy healing as well. Reiki is just the one that I was attuned to and most familiar with. But then spiritual healing, it's coming from the same place, but with spiritual healing, it's just coming from a specific being. So when I'm doing spiritual healing on someone, I'm not giving them messages or like things that I would do in a reading per se. I will just have an awareness of who the spirit is that's come to provide the healing. A lot of the times, like they've told me, I feel the presence of a man or a woman. And sometimes they tell me the relationship they had with the person who I'm doing the healing on. But there's no like message or communication or like that type of thing with them. They're there purely for the experience of, to provide the healing to the person. I've also had, recently I was feeling a little unwell, which is super strange because I haven't had that for like, I don't know, so many years. But I called in my own spirit team and asked them if they could, provide me with some healing. And I did. I felt them come in, and because I just had like a cold, put their hands on my throat and that type of thing. And it's just a really lovely, angelic feeling, a really light, loving, healing presence. And I think what is also so interesting is, I'll share a little story. A little while ago, I go to a Chinese like medicine. It's like a remedial massage therapist, and he practices Chuina. And when I was in a session a little while ago, um, they kind of like, he does kind of like a healing or like energy. He works with the chi. So, moving around your energy and understanding what's happening in your body to help your body foster its own healing. And while I was just in the session after he had done what he does, and I was just relaxing because he leaves me on my own for a little while for my body to integrate. And then he comes back and checks. But when I was just relaxing and I felt a presence in the room. So I was like, oh, okay. So I tapped into the presence and I was like, who is this? Can you show me? And it was actually his spirit guide. So his spirit guide um, basically is in there in the room with him. And he showed me like what he looks like and what he does. And um, I mean, I won't say specifics because it's someone's personal spirit guide, but what I've understood now is, a lot of people who do healing, whether it's just on, their own selves, like if it's personal, or if specifically as well, like if you're someone who, facilitates healing for others, a lot of the times we'll have specific spirit guides or specific people on our spirit teams who help us do this. So my remedial massage therapist spirit guide helps him with the healing that he provides to his clients. I would have, it's part of my spirit team would helps me with my own Reiki healing, and which I think is so beautiful. And one thing I guess I also want to mention is, I was attuned to Reiki at 12, so 20 years ago. And I've been practicing that ever since. It's basically a part of my daily life. And I think because it comes so naturally to me now, it's something that I tend to forget to actually talk about on here because, it's just so deeply ingrained into my human experience at this point. It's so natural. But when it comes to healing for yourself, please don't wait to, you don't need to necessarily be attuned to any form of healing. I think what's really beautiful about spiritual healing is everyone has a spirit team, everyone can work with angels, you can call upon, you know, um, beings from the angelic realm to provide healing for you. Obviously, you can go to a practitioner and, they who are attuned and who have, experience in this type of thing who can provide healing for you. And if it's something that you just really want to experience, that's beautiful too. I do it like on a fortnightly basis, but it's something that you can do for yourself is what I'm trying to say. It's not something that's, reserved for people who do trainings. Like, especially when it comes to spiritual healing, you can call on your own spirit team and say, I would love for you, what I've done in the past is I've done a meditation and I've just simply asked, please, I'm not feeling well at the moment, or, even if you're going through emotional challenges, you can just ask your spirit team to provide you with some healing, and they would be absolutely, they would love to do that. Give them so much pleasure. So, don't feel like obviously if you feel called to go get attuned to a specific form of healing, you can, but all I'm trying to say is you don't have to. The spirit realm is always there for you. You can just ask and they can provide you with the healing, which I think is so cool. You can, use it for yourself, use it for others, little children, pets and animals and that type of thing as well. Love the energy. But yeah, that's the difference. Obviously there's slight differences, but it's all energy. It's all coming from the same spot, place. The differences are really quite subtle, I would say, but both beautiful in their own right.